What's up, guys? Spencer here from the Soul Sandy Sneaker Podcast. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Shattered Backboard Air Jordan 1, the 2025 Retro Edition. Today we're going to be trying a little bit of a different format, so this can be a little bit more audibly and visually appealing to you guys. So bear with me. We're trying something new. First and foremost, we're going to start off with the history of the model and of the colorway. So the Air Jordan 1 did originally release in 1985, so 30 years later in 2015 when this shoe originally released, it was commemorating the 30-year anniversary of Jordan Brand, the Jordan 1, and of the exhibition game that this shoe is based on. So the Shattered Backboard colorway comes from an exhibition game played by Michael Jordan in Italy, where he dropped 30 points and shattered the backboard. I mean, who would have thought? The colorway is based off of the jerseys that they wore. I believe one team is white and orange, and the other team is black and orange. I can't pronounce the name of the team that he played on, but it's like an exhibition charity type game. 30 points on a shattered backboard is pretty good. And this is a premature, because I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the impact of the shoe later. But I do think this is the shoe that started the Air Jordan 1 push that went from like 2016 through 2021, where there was just this huge influx of Air Jordan 1s and the resale prices were just through the roof and all that. But I'll get to that later. So just give me 1 second. So as far as impact goes, this colorway was one of the first popular renditions of this color blocking, which eventually would become another instant classic, which is the bread toe. So that refers to having the same palette here, and then having the black trim overlays. So that is the bread toe blocking, which this is one of the signature models. This is the reason that we got all of those renditions of it later, with that being UNC, Pine Green, Court Purple, and other things like that. Because of the success of this one, I don't want to say none of those ever release, but if this one didn't do as well, then yes, I think we get less of those over that time frame. The shoe also caused an overabundance and the overuse of the color tone starfish. For anybody who's been in the shoe game for the last, 8 or so years, you've seen this colorway spammed on a lot of stuff. And not only Jordan 1s, but it's been given to plenty of different shoes just to catch even a hint of the hype that this shoe had behind it. Because, this shoe is massive. This is one of the, at one point, this was a grail. And almost an unattainable grail for most people who are not willing to pay resale, because these were just, insane. Speaking of resale, these quickly rose to about 500, post-release, pretty much immediately. These sold out immediately, obviously. But at its peak in about 2021, 2022-ish, this was about a $1,500 sneaker brand new. Obviously, because the longer you wait, the less wearable pairs, and I'm speaking of a StockX number, and so those are only new pairs that are available to be sold. But we're still talking about a $1,500 sneaker 6 years after release. That is that's insane, especially for an Air Jordan 1 that was, I don't want to call it a general release, but it's not a collaboration. It was a run of the mill. It had high quality, which I'm going to talk about that in a second, but just a standard Air Jordan 1 commemorating the 30th anniversary. So it could have been limited. I don't know a stock count. I don't know if anybody knows the stock count. I didn't find any information on that when I was doing my research, but $1,500 for a Jordan 1 is insane. So thank you, Jordan Brand, for unlocking the vault on these. It was about time. And with everything else coming out this year, it seems appropriate. We've gotten Galaxy Foamposites. We're getting the Undefeated 4s. We got the 85 Bread 1s. It's a good year. 2025 is a great year for sneakers. So, and a lot of stuff is sitting, so don't complain too much. This is a good year. this sneaker also became the premier example for premium materials. Like a lot of shoes over time have caught strays just because this shoe is so good. Like other shoes, even now in 2025, get, oh, that's not, it doesn't have the shattered backboard quality. Well, I mean, they use good materials that one time. It was good tumbled, like it just became the bar almost. And it was like, I understand, but we can't let the one of the best ones we've gotten in a ever in an Air Jordan 1 retro be the standard. You know, we kind of have to set a bar kind of in the middle of expectation, at least. I guess as a consumer, you can be upset about any quality, you know, like, you know, if it's not up to your standard as a consumer. But I don't think the consumer's appetite can ever quite be quenched. But yeah, quite a few shoes have caught strays just because this shoe was so good as far as quality and materials go, at least to the regular eye. Like none of us are leather experts, so like it was just tumbled enough to make and soft enough to make us really like believe that it was like super premium. It's a Jordan 1. I'm not gonna believe that it was like anything groundbreaking and astounding, but obviously I don't have a 2015 pair, nor will I probably ever have a 2015 pair. I did post on my story to try and see if I could get one to do a comparison for you guys, but you got to get it how you live. I wasn't about to pay however much they are right now. I think they're about 8. I think they're sitting at 8, 7 or 8. So over the last 10 years, obviously this did spawn a bunch of different colored Air Jordans with the starfish, like the Jordan 5s or those weird 270 Jordan things that they had, mids, lows, plenty of things like that. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to talk about the Air Jordan 1s right now. So in 2015, we got the OG Shattered Backboard, premium leather, you know, blase, blase. 2016, a year later, after the success of the original Shattered Backboard, we have a reverse, or the 2.0 of the Shattered Backboard, which is the Chicago blocking on the same shoe. It does have sail, and it's the, you know, it's this, but it's Chicago blocking. I'll obviously put that on the screen for anybody who doesn't know what Chicago blocking means. A lot more white than black, and it did pretty well. This was an expensive Jordan 1 as well. It did very, very well. It did much better than the 3.0 that I'll be talking about shortly. 2018 comes the satin version of this, which many Jordan 1s have been given the satin women's treatment. Shadows, Breads, Shattered Backboard, Royals. I mean, you name it. Everything. Black toe, bread toe. Probably Chicago at this point, too. Like, everything has been given a satin women's version. I'm not mad at it. It doesn't, you know. If there's actually ladies out there that are wearing those, good for you. I mean, I think that's a good shoe. I have purchased the satin in at least two colorways. I don't think I own either one of them anymore, but that's no knock on the women's satin. I'm not here for the hate, for the slander. You know, I think it's good for whoever wants it. And then 2019, I do have these. I should have brought those out. We got the Shattered Backboard 3.0, which has the crinkled, aged, super aged, when we're talking about like having sail in comparison to this sail. Super aged, but this is the bread blocking, which for those of you who don't know, it's a lot more black than white. Pretty much no white at all, except this midsole would normally be white if it wasn't aged. And they did give us this crinkly leather, which I think is still pretty premium. Like, these got a lot of hate at the beginning, but they did warm up over time. I don't know what they're sitting at resale wise, because I don't really care, but these have definitely grown on people. But at the time of release, like, people were hating on these bad, super bad. But, you know, they didn't know no better. So like I said, I don't have a 2015 to compare with you guys, but I'm going to do my best to go through the differences that I could find online of the 2015 versus the 2025. So first and foremost, obviously the shape has changed dramatically. No, I'm not going to say dramatically, but significantly since 2022. So the collar and the height and the swoosh size are all different in comparison to the 2015. So the black swooshes are larger. We do have like the updated remastered V2 is what they're calling it, shape with the Jordan 1. So overall, this is closer to what we had in 1985, and overall is a better cut of the Air Jordan 1. So we can be thankful for that. The tongue tag is very, very slightly different. The only main difference is that in 2015, they did not have the trademarked Nike Air registered trademark logo right here. So very small difference there. Probably wouldn't notice it if you had them next to each other, really, unless you're really being that guy. The color is probably the biggest difference, just because, I mean, you can even tell between these two that the colors are a little bit different. We are looking at a slightly darker shade of the Starfish orange on the 2025, and then on the 2015, the white is a bit whiter, and then we got, you know, a little bit more of an off. No, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. These are a little bit whiter than these are more stark white than the 2025, than the 2015. So these are a little bit more white, which creates more of a contrast, and I think that's why people are thinking that these look a lot different. But if you, from what the pictures I've seen of these next to each other, they really don't look that different. These definitely are darker as far as the orange goes, but I think the contrast between the whiter white on here versus the sail and lighter Starfish on the 2015 is what is causing people to have an uproar. But we just saw what they were doing with the Aqua 8s, man. Like, don't let that small color disparity stop you from getting a classic sneaker, especially one like this that's going to go on sale. If you can get the Shattered Backboard 1 in 2025 on sale and you don't, you're going to kick yourself a few years from now. So please listen to me. Please. So obviously the original 2015 comes in a standard Air Jordan 1 box, which is the black and red. We do have a updated, which this is probably one of my favorite parts, honestly, Shattered Backboard resembling box. Super cool. Really like that aspect, especially since we do have the Shattered Backboard insoles that it comes with anyway. That was a nice detail, which was also on the 2015. So I think it's cool that this made its way to the box. I am a retro collector, and I do like when stuff has the OG box, but something like this, I'm cool with it having a different box. This is not just a regular Air Jordan 1 that I'm trying to collect. Keep the OGs in the OG box. Keep everything else. If it has a special theme, I'm okay with it having a special box. So, Jordan Brand, if you're listening, you know, if you're hiring, you know. And then, like I said, as far as the leather quality goes, it does look like they did their best to tumble it and make it at least resemble being of the same quality. Like I said, none of us are really leather experts, and if I offend you with that, then I'm sorry, but you're probably not a leather expert. All they do is roll this. That doesn't, the tumbled aspect does not mean the leather is higher quality. They just tumble it in a machine, guys. You know. Don't be bamboozled, but you know it's still good leather, and they're just sneakers. So just relax, and that me saying they're just sneakers, it says a lot. So just relax, guys. I promise the leather is good enough. I promise. And like I said, you're probably gonna be able to get them on sale, so just chill. And taking a look at the materials, we do have vivid Starfish orange overlays against a sail base with black swooshes and collars. High quality leather construction with new updated shape, and this time, unlike the 2015, this drop will extend all the way down from men's to toddlers, with this being a full family sizing release. Super excited for that. Alright guys, let's get to the release date. So initially these were supposed to release in July. These have now been pushed back to August 23rd. So not too far from now. They will release in full family sizing. Men's prices will be $185. This is the second Air Jordan 1 to come out after the tariff increase of $5. So the first one being the Self-Expression Air Jordan 1 that came out 2 weeks ago. That sat. I will expect these to do the same thing. They are already sitting overseas. Guys, please do your due diligence. Like, I'm not saying if you want the shoe, go ahead and get it on first day. Don't take no chances. But if you're willing to take a chance, side with your boy. You know, I'm not one of those Discord betters, but side with your boy. I think these are going to sell. I think you can get these on sale. I think they'll be at outlets. I think they'll be very readily available. Really, if you wanted them early, you could get them for retail early right now, probably. I don't want to don't quote me on that, but you know, depending on your size, you can probably get these retail right now, or at least $20 over retail by paying for a site like End or somewhere that has them overseas that will ship to the US. You can definitely get these super accessible. So I'm planning to wait until I can get these for under retail. I think that's just how it's going to go. It's coming out right before the Undefeated Fours. The only thing that is going to significantly help this shoe is the fact that the back to school in my area is the weekend that this releases, so that's going to help. But I still don't see a lot of the kids grabbing these to go back to school. You know, I could see some of the parents urging the kids to grab these to go back to school, but I really don't see them snatching these up anytime soon. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you thought of the new format. Hopefully I can bring it in a concise manner to you guys like this every single time. If you can't tell, I'm really tired, so I sound a little monotone. I think I got a little bit better throughout the video, but you know, y'all leave a comment. Let me know how you guys feel down below. Matter of fact, leave an orange. You know, for the orange. I don't know. I will see y'all out on another video. We do have a podcast coming out Sunday, 1 p.m. That is our new drop time for our podcast. We got a cool guest this week, cool guest next week, cool guest the week after that. And if I can keep them coming, then we're going to have some cool guests all season 5 of the Soul Sandy Sneaker Podcast. So we'll catch y'all out on another video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.